I feel very good. I feel very proud of the time and the curation that goes into each of our tours to make it a authentic, immersive, and purposeful experience.
Welcome to the brndBrief podcast, where we discuss the latest trends on the business side of fashion, beauty, tech, entertainment, and the impact of technology on driving brand growth. This podcast is powered by Brand Method Media Group, and I'm your host, Kelly Kelly. Today's guest is Megan Grant, founder and chief memory creator of Cherish Tours. This is a tour company inviting women on a mission to travel with purpose. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Thanks so much for having me, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So I would love to start with the mission of Cherish Tours and how it came to be. What was the journey like to get there?
I'm happy to share. So I have an entire background in hospitality. I started my career from when I was an intern at 16 in guest services. I've been in front desk. I've done event planning. A majority of my career was actually in citywide conference planning. I've also personally traveled to 40 countries in my life so far. So I've seen hospitality both from the professional standpoint as well as from a personal standpoint. And I think the vision for Cherish Tours really came together from both of those perspectives and seeing the gap of what I didn't fully love about both hospitality professionally and personally. So the mission being to support women in business and empower women through purposeful travel in order to bring travelers together in a more purposeful and meaningful way so that we're making positive impact on the places we're going to instead of only taking away from.
That's incredible. So when it comes to putting the tours together, how do you craft, unique tours and create these lasting memories?
Yeah, so Cherish right now is a boutique operator, meaning that I am the only full-time employee. We have several tour guides that are all women that help create the travel memories, but I'm the one putting the itineraries together, building those unique brand partnerships in order to make sure that our mission is 100% true to the fullest capacity it can be. So I'm sourcing all of the itineraries myself by either visiting the place or having already been there in my previous travels. So I put together all of the itineraries based on my own travel knowledge and then these partnerships that I'm finding on the ground.
How long does that take you usually to put together a tour?
So it takes at least me visiting the country at least one time, if not more. And it does take an entire new destination takes me at least a year. I went to Tanzania, for example, which is our newest destination in October of 2023. And then I will be hosting our very first tour, which is actually already sold out. It was held exclusively for previous travelers and some of my family. My mom is traveling with me on that one. And that tour will be in October of this year in 2024. So it takes me at least a year to really get things running and start putting it all together and making sure that the pieces land in the right place.
So this is not a situation where you're obviously pulling from your memory and just saying, hey, I think this would go good together, or I saw this interesting thing on Instagram. You are boots on the ground doing real research. I mean, if it's taking you a year, I mean, you're physically going there, you're pulling from your own experience. And I imagine throughout this year is the time that you're taking to make these partnerships and things like that. So this is a very intensive process. It's not just like plug and play.
Exactly. So it's very different from other tour operators. It's something that I take pride in because it's very intentional and it makes sure that when I say we support women in business, I mean it, and that the funds are really being spent by our travelers to go into local women's pockets rather than me just putting a blanket statement out there and hoping for it to be true. So it does take more heavy lifting to create our tours than potentially some other operators or the more traditional way of working with a travel agent or travel advisor. But I feel very good. I feel very proud of the time and the curation that goes into each of our tours to make it a authentic, immersive, and purposeful experience.
So I would love to dig a little deeper on that. You mentioned putting, supporting women in business and putting money into their pockets. I'm assuming you're talking about women business owners in the destination. What does that look like? What are some examples of things that you're very intentional about in terms of partnership and activities, I imagine, or experiences? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I'm happy to do that. So for all of our tours, I intentionally say women in business because it is not always a single owned, woman owned business. We also support husband and wife owned businesses, locally owned businesses that are women led, and then, of course, woman owned businesses or majority woman owned businesses. So through, for example, our Nordic Getaway, we partner with a woman-owned tour provider in Iceland. We partner with a husband and wife-owned tour provider in the Faroe Islands. We stay at properties that are women-owned or majority women-owned. We hire travel guides that are women or local women. All of those elements so that simply by signing up for the Nordic Getaway, for example, the women who are taking that tour know that the money they've spent is going to support other women.
Wow, that's really amazing. I can see why it would take you a year to do that. So Cherish Tours offers, culinary adventures and wellness retreats, themed tours. What's the process of designing these experiences to cater to niche interest?
Yeah, so our tours really are, again, unique in the sense that we are not just an adventure tour company where you are diving headfirst into trekking or hiking or camping outside. We're a blended experience that is both adventure and immersive. And like you are speaking to, there are our version of immersive is sometimes culinary experiences, it's sometimes wellness. For example, our Costa Rica trip has a cacao ceremony that we are participating in. It's led by a local Mayan female cacao master. So we are able to get immersed in local culture through food, through activities, through wellness, and all of these different opportunities. And the uniqueness of some of this as well is that I'll use Costa Rica again as a continued example. We provide options within our tour. So for Costa Rica, someone can choose if they would prefer to do the waterfall hike or would they like to go tubing. And so both of those are offered on the same day. However, you as a participant can choose which one fits for you best. So we integrate these options so that like-minded women who want to be on trips that have purpose also have opportunities to really make it their own vacation.
Yeah. So it's not just like a rigid schedule. Hey, this is the itinerary. This is kind of it, or take it or leave it. You have some options there based on what you really want to do.
Yeah, we do have an overall like master itinerary, I guess I would say. So the flow of the whole, let's say, week is similar for everybody. You do certain things at certain times and you show up at the curated hotels that we've selected. However, we integrate choice into our master itinerary so that even though it's a group setting, you still have some individualism involved in it.
That's amazing. Can you share a particularly challenging request or destination that you were able to successfully curate an unforgettable experience for?
Yes, definitely. So I've actually been talking about this a little bit more recently. Recently, there was an election in Turkey that elected for the very first time 11 female mayors across the country. And that's the first time that Turkey has seen so much female presence in their politics. So I'm super excited to see that and see that it's growing as we're also offering Turkey as a destination. And I got some pushback both on Turkey and on Tanzania from people, outside observers, saying, how the heck are you going to support women on the ground in these places? And my answer to that is really, women exist everywhere. And there's definitely certain countries in the world that are even more rigid than Turkey or Tanzania and don't offer opportunities to women to have their own business or have some of those freedoms. But there are countries that people would think that it's difficult to do that or wouldn't even think about trying to find women in business because of the stereotypes or the perceived cultural situations in these places. And yet it's still entirely possible. In Tanzania, we will be having a female safari driver guide. I was told that that would be impossible. It's not. And we're staying at hotels that are owned by women. We're staying at another lodge that's ran by local Maasai the local Maasai tribe, and 100% of the proceeds goes to benefiting Maasai. In Turkey, we're staying at 2 hotels that are woman owned and then also woman, husband and wife owned. And it's already written into their like succession plan to give it to their daughter when she comes of age.
Wow.
So it's possible everywhere.
Wow. As the travel industry sort of rebounds from the impact of the pandemic, how do you envision the future of travel, and what strategies is Cherish Tours implementing to adapt to the changing landscape?
We were scared when everybody was, when the pandemic happened, for our industry, for hospitality overall. I saw a lot of things come down really hard and close during the pandemic across the hospitality industry. And I was a crazy person who decided to launch my tour company in March of 2021. And that was right in the middle of everything. And I did that not knowing what was going to be next. I was prepping to have everyone take COVID tests forever to be able to travel with us and to be vaccinated and all of these different things. And in the wake of COVID, we've definitely seen a lot of those things lift. I've even seen countries who previously required visas, Turkey being one of them, no longer require tourist visas in order to open borders for people to come back and visit their country. It's also becoming really popular in the last few years for women who are even married or in a partnership to travel by themselves because they've discovered themselves and realized that even though they're in a partnership or married, that their partner maybe can't travel anymore or doesn't want to, they don't have that same aligned passion. So they're getting out there and they're going anyways. So we're seeing so many shifts since the pandemic. I think the other thing that I would add is also this giant shift towards purposeful purchases and people supporting small businesses. And I love to see that because I think that these are all, in my opinion, positive changes, and that our buyer's market in general is becoming more aware of how and where they're spending their money. And I think to answer the other half of your question about how Cherish is also adapting to this, I think that for us, of course, first of all, when the pandemic was happening, safety of our travelers was most important, and health. And we're able to let that continue to be top of mind, but not worry about COVID testing and these different potential visa restrictions, making it more difficult for people to have access to these amazing places in the world. And within our company, we have from the beginning supported women in business, welcome women travelers to be able to come with us. And I'm continuing to stay steadfast in that and really drive it home and make sure that the women who are traveling with us believe in the mission and really love supporting locals as well. We've also recently opened up the opportunity to do tailor-made tours, which are private travel experiences with us. So we can curate a tour for, let's say, you and your family, if you wanted to go somewhere that we specialize in and have expertise in. We can create a tour package for your dates and your preferences in mind, which allows us to even more so expand the impact of supporting the women we partner with in the destinations we go to.
Incredible. So what's next for Cherish Tours? What do you guys have coming up this year, next year? What's on the docket?
So we are very fortunate to have sold out a majority of our tours for this year. I'm so excited about
Congratulations.
that.
That's so
Thank you so
cool.
much. Thank you. So we have sold out all of our tours except for two. We have the Nordic Getaway coming up in September of this year, and that goes to Iceland, Denmark, and the Faroe Islands. If you haven't heard of the Faroe Islands, anyone who's listening, look it up. It's one of the most beautiful places I've been. Just the nature is mind-blowing. Where we're staying there was actually the film set for the newest Peter Pan movie. It was filmed as
Wow.
Neverland. So it's just stunning. Then also we are partnering with the Black Girls Guide to Atlanta to offer a glamping retreat in October. And those are our last two trips that are available for this year. And then we, like I just mentioned, we're doing tailor-made tours now, private experiences, and those are available for winter of 2024 and into 2025 and beyond. So we're launching tours one at a time for small group tours for 2025 and actively taking inquiries for our tailor-made tours.
Very, very exciting, Megan. That's so
Thank you.
cool.
Thanks so much.
Well, that's going to wrap our show for today. Thank you to our incredible guest, Megan Grant, founder and chief memory creator of Cherish Tours. We'll have contact information for Megan and Cherish Tours in the show notes for anyone interested in supporting the company and getting your travel on. It's time, right? I know that's how I felt when the year started. I was like, it's time to get back outside a little bit.
Yes, couldn't agree more.
If you enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll see you in the next episode.